Chapter 76. That's right. Su Xianwu sneered. Why was Wei Zhuan wearing a defensive artifact when he was sparring with Sassafras? Isn't this breaking the rules of the sect? How should we deal with this? He didn't say how to deal with Yang Kai, but first tied Wei Zhuan together. This made the first elder's expression blank, not knowing how to answer. If Wei Zhuan really used his own ability to beat Sassafras, then Sassafras can only blame himself for not being skilled enough. Now that Wei Zhuan is using a defensive artifact to humiliate my grandson, brother, do you think I'm made of mud? Su Xianwu shouted angrily and slapped the armrest of his chair into pieces. Wei Shitong had no choice but to lower his attitude and say, "Second junior brother, please calm down. Wei Zhuan's defensive artifact was indeed bestowed upon him by me. But I only wanted to give him a little more protection. Who would have thought that this child would be so bad and use a defensive artifact to spar with others? This is Wei Zhuan's fault." After saying this, he shouted angrily, "Wei Zhuan, why haven't you apologized to your junior brother yet?" Wei Zhuan was very obedient and immediately cupped his fists towards Sassafras. "Junior brother, this time it was brother Wei's fault. Brother will apologize to you. Junior brother, please be magnanimous and don't take offense." Sassafras turned his head away and ignored him. But what could Su Xianwu do now that things had come to this? The first elder said again, "Wei Zhuan is wrong, but Yang Kai's mistake is even worse. Holding a divine weapon, he almost killed Wei Zhuan. If it weren't for the intervention of the disciplinary hall disciples, Wei Zhuan would have already lost his life. This matter has a bad influence and Yang Kai must be severely punished as a warning to others." Fourth elder Zhou Fei and fifth elder Yu Zizai nodded in agreement. Second elder sneered, "Why is it that Wei Zhuan broke the sect's rules and just apologized, but Yang Kai has to be severely punished? Could it be that because Wei Zhuan is eldest brother's grandson, he can enjoy some privileges? If that's the case, then what prestige does Sky Tower's elder have in front of the disciples?" Wei Shitong sternly said, "Second martial brother's words are incorrect. Kai Yang's mistakes and Wei Zhuan's mistakes could not be compared. Wei Zhuan was only wearing a defensive artifact to protect himself, he didn't want to harm. He Zhuan's is to protect others, while Yang's killing, he's killing people. Who is more important? Second junior brother should be clear." "Brother." Xianwu said Wu's right. If he really had such a weapon, why didn't the law enforcement hall find it on him? Fourth brother, did the law enforcement hall under your command report on this? Fourth elder Zhou Fei was in charge of the disciplinary hall. He shook his head and said, "Although they didn't, there were so many people present at the time. They all saw Yang Kai holding a blood-red knife. This matter can't be faked. If it wasn't for the power of that weapon, Wei Zhuan's embroidered cloud chainmail wouldn't have been destroyed." Su Xianwu snorted. The yuan qi in his body revolved, and a slender long sword suddenly burst out from his fingertips. This long sword was formed by the yuan qi. It flickered and was obviously very powerful. If that's the case, does that mean I'm also holding a weapon? Su Xianwu looked coldly at the three people in front of him. This is only the exquisite use of yuan qi. How can it be considered a weapon? Fifth elder Yu Zizai slowly shook his head. "Second brother, do you mean that Yang Kai, who is only at the initial element third level, can already use yuan qi to such an extent?" Fourth elder Zhou Fei looked at Su Xianwu with a faint smile. This was a joke. A cultivator could only condense such a substance when his strength reached the yuan qi level and the yuan qi in his body turned into yuan qi. Yang Kai was only at the initial element third level. He was thousands of miles away from the yuan qi level. How could he have such ability? I didn't say that he could control yuan qi to such an extent. But brothers, did you forget about martial arts? Su Xianwu snorted. Impossible. Even if he used some strange martial arts, a mere initial element third level cultivator would never be able to break through the defense of the embroidered cloud chainmail. Wei Shitong shook his head repeatedly. There is nothing impossible in this world. I can only say that brothers have been in Sky Tower for a long time and are obsessed with fighting for power. Your thinking is too rigid and can't keep up with the times. These words were unpleasant to hear. Wei Shitong's face suddenly turned cold. Second junior brother, do you really have to protect that Yang Kai? So what if I do? Su Xianwu suddenly stood up. This matter, to put it simply, is a competition between the younger generation. Why do you have to make a fuss about it? Fine, I'll satisfy your unreasonable demands. Either we punish both Yang Kai and Wei Zhuang. They both broke the rules of the Sky Tower, so we won't let either one of them go. Or, this matter will end here. No! Wei Shitong flatly refused. Even if it is, as you said, that Yang Kai used martial arts to break through the defense of the embroidered cloud chainmail, this person is still young and his methods are bloody and cruel. In the future, when his cultivation reaches a certain level, he will definitely fall into the evil path. Our Sky Tower cannot tolerate such a person. He is only in the initial element stage. How do you know that he will fall into the evil path in the future? Big brother, do you have the ability to predict the future? Second brother. Fourth elder Zhou Fei was about to speak, but was interrupted by Su Xianwu's angry shout. Su Xianwu pointed at his nose and scolded, Fourth brother, before the head went into seclusion, he appointed you to be in charge of the law enforcement hall. These past few years, have you seen what the law enforcement hall has done? Where is fairness and justice? If the law enforcement hall only suppresses dissidents and helps people fight for power, then what is the use of keeping it? Tomorrow, I will report to the head and have him remove the law enforcement hall. Fuck, what is this? The fourth elder was scolded, but he couldn't refute, so his heart was filled with grievances. Second junior brother, what if I insist on expelling Yang Kai from Sky Tower? Wei Shitong asked with a cold face. You dare? Su Xianwu did not back down. Good, then we will follow the rules set by the head and vote by a show of hands. Once the Elder Council passes, I think second junior brother won't have any objections, right? Ha, a show of hands? Su Xianwu laughed. Big brother, do you think I, Su Xianwu, am a fool? A show of hands, is there a need to vote? This won't do, that won't do, what do you want? Are you not even paying attention to the rules set by the head? Wei Shitong also became angry. The elder hall was filled with smoke, and it seemed that a fight was about to break out. Calm down, calm down. Come drink a cup of water, drink a cup of water, everyone calm down. The third elder, who had not spoken until now, tried to persuade them. The third elder had a calm temperament, and although he stood on the second elder's side, he generally did not participate in any fights. Moreover, his name was the same as his catchphrase, He Chue Shui, drink a cup of water. Whenever there was any friction between the elders, he would try to persuade them, but the results were very little. We won't drink. The great elder and second elder roared at the same time, glaring at each other, neither willing to accept the other. The third elder was helpless and could only drink by himself. While the elders were arguing, a person's voice suddenly came from outside. This disciple has an important matter to report to the several elders. The fourth elder frowned and quickly said, Come in. When the elder council was discussing something, ordinary disciples did not dare to disturb them. For someone to come at this time, it was certain that something big had happened in the sect. The few elders knew the situation and naturally stopped their quarrel. After the disciple came in, fourth elder Zhou Fei asked, What is it? Reporting to the elders, someone broke into the law enforcement hall's forest prison and rescued the troublemakers Yang Kai and Li Yuntian. At the moment, they are confronting brother Xie Hongchen at the entrance of the prison. What? The fourth elder stood up on the spot, and the other elders were even more shocked. Who is so bold, daring to break into the forest prison to rescue people? The High Heaven Pavilion disciple didn't dare answer, only raising his eyes to look at Su Xianwu. Su Xianwu's heart skipped a beat, faintly having a bad premonition. The great elder took in all of this and more or less had a guess, so he calmly ordered, Speak. It's Su Yen's senior sister Su. As soon as these words came out, the smile on the great elder's face suddenly became meaningful, and even the fourth and fifth elders gave Su Xianwu a strange look, while the third elder continued to drink his water. Su Xianwu's expression changed, gnashing his teeth in anger as he shouted, Did you see clearly? Was the person who broke into the forest prison really Su Yan? The disciplinary hall disciple trembled in fear and quickly said, "Disciple saw it clearly. I know senior sister Su Yan's name. If second elder doesn't believe me, you can go and see for yourself." "No need." Su Xianwu waved his hand, closed his eyes, and a moment later, he really did feel a chill coming from the forest prison. This kind of chill, in all of High Heaven Pavilion, except for Su Yan, no one else could have. This little girl really doesn't know what's important, she's too bold. Second junior brother, what do you think of this matter? The great elder smiled as he sipped his tea, waiting for Su Xianwu to withdraw his divine sense before calmly asking. At this moment, the great elder was confident. If the two sides were unwilling to back down just now, then there was now a breakthrough. What kind of place was the forest prison? It was an important place where High Heaven Pavilion imprisoned disciples who had committed crimes. Whether Yang Kai was in the wrong or not, as long as he was imprisoned, he had to stay there before the matter was settled. Now, Su Yan had rushed in and pulled him out. She had shown a moment of bravery, but had violated High Heaven Pavilion's rules. This was a big mistake. If it wasn't handled properly, even Su Yan would be punished. Wei Shitong knew that Su Xianwu definitely wouldn't let Su Yan be implicated, so he had to make a concession. Naturally, the one who was willing to let go was that disciple named Yang Kai. Speaking of which, none of the 5 elders knew who Kai Yang was. The main reason why they had made such a big fuss about him was because they wanted to seize control of the High Heaven Pavilion. But now, the great elder felt that he could win. After this matter spread, the disciples below would naturally think that the great elder's faction could influence High Heaven Pavilion's decisions and movements. Thus, their goal would be achieved. Su Xianwu's face was livid, and after struggling for a long time, he angrily said, "Whatever eldest brother wants to do, we'll do it." Su Yan had become a hindrance, so how could Su Xianwu be in the mood to continue arguing with them? In order to protect Su Yan from being punished, Yang Kai could only be sacrificed. Where there is life, there is hope. In the future, there will always be a chance to get back at him. Old ghost. Sassafras heard this and immediately stared at Su Xianwu in disbelief. "What did you call me?" Su Xianwu was about to go crazy with anger at this pair of siblings. "Grandfather, you can't do this." Sassafras quickly changed his words. "You have no right to speak in this matter." Su Xianwu glared at him fiercely. "Brother Yang saved my life. You can't just ignore him. If you don't, then you're being ungrateful." "You shut up." Su Xianwu's face turned red. Although he was unwilling in his heart, he was currently on the chopping block. So what could he do? In order to prevent Sassafras from continuing, Su Xianwu sent out a finger, causing Sassafras to freeze like a statue, unable to speak or move, only able to watch and listen. "I'll deal with you when we get back." Su Xianwu snorted. "Ha." The great elder smiled with satisfaction. Since second junior brother has no objections, then this matter is decided. Finished speaking, he looked at the disciples below and said, "Pass down the order. Trial disciple Yang Kai has repeatedly violated the sect's rules. His methods are bloody and cruel, so the disciplinary hall will arrest him and bring him back to the forest prison. After the elders discuss, we will deal with him. As for Su Yan, seeing that she is young and ignorant, and that this is her first offense, we will not pursue this matter. Junior brothers, what do you think? How could the other elders have any objections? Go." The great elder waved his hand and a token flew out, landing in the disciple's hand. The elder's order, seeing the token is the same as seeing the person. With this token, Su Yan did not dare to act rashly. The disciplinary hall disciple received the order and quickly retreated. A moment later, a short scream suddenly came from the door, followed by the sound of a person falling to the ground. The elders' expressions changed, and just as they were about to get up to investigate, a voice came from outside. "Elders, you are quite awe-inspiring." The voice sounded, and a white-haired old man slowly walked in. In his hand was the disciplinary hall disciple who had just left, but now he had been knocked unconscious. Even the elder's token had been snatched by this old man. This old man walked in front of the kneeling Wei Zhuan and Sassafras, and casually kicked Wei Zhuan to the side. Go, 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 don't block the way. Wei Zhuan flew out, screaming miserably. In the elders' hall, the 5 elders' expressions were dignified. Wei Shitong narrowed his eyes at the newcomer. Treasurer Meng? The newcomer was the contribution hall's Meng Wuya. Speaking of this person, the 5 elders were all confused. More than 10 years ago, he suddenly came to High Heaven Pavilion. They did not know what relationship he had with the sect master, but he lived in the pavilion and managed the contribution hall. The elders had asked the sect master many times about this person, but every time the sect master did not give them any details, leaving them scratching their heads. However, the 5 elders knew that this person was an expert. Moreover, he was definitely not inferior to them. Fortunately, this person did not have any purpose and only spent his time in the contribution hall, so the elders did not pay attention to him. But he did not expect that he would come to the elder hall uninvited today. Wei Shitong faintly felt that when facing this treasurer Meng, the pressure was even greater than when facing the sect master. Because of this, Wei Shitong did not dare to slight treasurer Meng. Smiling, Wei Shitong opened his mouth. I wonder why treasurer Meng has come to my elders' hall? Meng Wuya did not answer and only smiled at Su Xianwu. Su Xianwu was puzzled by this stare, but he thought to himself, there are no flowers on my face, so why are you looking at me? Do you think your decision is correct? Meng Wuya suddenly asked. What? Su Xianwu was surprised. Chapter 77. Sacrificing Yang Kai to protect Su Yan, do you really think you're doing the right thing? Treasurer Meng chuckled. Su Xianwu's expression became awkward. He thought the other party was here to criticize him. Meng Wuya continued, this way, you can indeed protect Su Yan, but if Su Yan were to find out afterwards, how would she feel? Su Xianwu's expression froze, sweat dripping down his forehead as he suddenly realized the seriousness of the situation. If you really do this, you will only create a heart demon for Su Yan. She cultivates the ice heart's secret art. Once a heart demon is born, you know the consequences better than anyone. Meng Wuya's faint voice sounded in Su Xianwu's ears, causing the latter to feel like he had been struck by lightning and regret. He had only cared about the immediate benefits and hadn't thought about what kind of terrible consequences he would bring to Su Yan in the future. Indeed, sacrificing Yang Kai this time could indeed protect Su Yan, but as long as she lived, she would definitely remember this matter and think that the reason she was safe was all because of Yang Kai's sacrifice. If this continued, her heart would definitely be tormented and her state of mind would become unstable, so how could her strength improve? Many thanks for Treasurer Meng's reminder. Su Xianwu respectfully said. Ah. Meng Wuya chuckled. Even if I didn't say anything, you would have guessed, it's just a matter of time. Great Elder stood to the side with a gloomy expression. He had finally found an opportunity to defeat his second junior brother, but now that Treasurer Meng had appeared and lectured him, how could his second junior brother be willing to be manipulated by him? For Su Yan's future, he would definitely not compromise this time. Realizing this, Wei Shitong said with a gloomy expression, Treasurer Meng, this is High Heaven Pavilion's Elder Hall. Without the permission of an elder, no one is allowed to set foot here. You should return to where you came from. Meng Wuya glanced at him and threw the elder's token back to him. His figure flashed and he arrived at the highest position in the Elder Hall. Bold! Wei Shitong flew into a rage, and the other elders also looked at Treasurer Meng with a fierce expression. The reason was none other than that empty seat was reserved for the High Heaven Pavilion's sect master. Besides the sect master, no one else was qualified to set foot there. The few elders had been fighting openly and secretly for so many years. Even the great elder did not dare to covet that position. But now, an unknown contribution hall shopkeeper was actually standing in the main seat. How could the elders not be angry? This was contempt for the entire High Heaven Pavilion. Hee, please calm down. Meng Wuya smiled faintly and stroked his beard. I'm here on behalf of your sect leader to pass on a message. You're here on behalf of the sect master? The 5 elders were visibly moved. Over the past 10 years, Even the 5 great elders had found it extremely difficult to see the sect leader. Who would have thought that Meng Wuya would actually go and see him? And from what he said, it seemed that the sect leader had something to say about what happened today. What was going on here? Normally, even if the pavilion was in chaos, the sect leader would not intervene. So how could today's conflict between a group of juniors have alarmed the sect leader? What is this? Do you recognize it? Meng Wuya held a purple jade pendant in his hand. The sect leader's jade pendant. This jade pendant was the symbol of High Heaven Pavilion's sect leader. It was absolutely impossible to fake. It's good that you know. Meng Wuya smiled. Wei Shitong carefully asked, "Dare I ask Treasurer Meng, what instructions does the sect leader have for us?" Although the sect leader had not been involved in High Heaven Pavilion's affairs for more than 10 years, his prestige as a pavilion master had never weakened. Meng Wuya said, "Your sect leader said that today's matter should be reduced to a small matter, and then reduced to nothing. This is a fight between juniors, so why are you shameless old men interfering? Don't be too shameless." Wei Shitong was stunned and stammered, "Sect leader? Sect leader said that? Oh, the last part was my words. Your sect leader only said the first half." Meng Wuya lightly said. The 5 elders almost vomited blood in anger. This scolding was really strong. Unfortunately, they did not know how to respond. Also, since Yang Kai has already reached the initial element stage, then let him be promoted to an ordinary disciple. He can't always carry the status of a trial disciple. These words were also said by you? Wei Shitong asked with some worry. It was your sect leader who said it. Meng Wuya chuckled. The words had been passed on. You can do as you see fit. Finished speaking, he directly walked down from above and strode out of the elder hall. The 5 elders looked at each other and remained silent. Since the sect leader had already passed on the message, what else was there to discuss? It was not a big deal to begin with. Everyone was just using this as a pretext to make a fuss. Wouldn't it be easy to resolve it? Su Xianwu coldly harumphed. He flicked his sleeves and left. With the sect leader's orders, there was no need for him to fight anymore. He walked up to the palace, grabbed Su Mu and disappeared. The second elder left, and the third elder He Bei Shui also left. Only the great elder's faction was left in the hall. The 5th elder, Yu Zizai, said, "Big brother, something is wrong. Today's matter is not a big deal, but it actually alarmed the sect leader. Is there some mystery behind it?" The 4th elder also nodded. Could it be that the sect leader wants to take this opportunity to tell us that he is still watching Sky Tower? This was also the great elder's guess, but he did not dare to admit it. Now that the 4th elder said it out loud, his heart also thumped. No matter what, this time we will take a step back. In the future, we will have to be more careful. The great elder muttered. However, we can test the sect master's thoughts and see what he is thinking. If he is willing to leave the mountain and take charge of High Heaven Pavilion, then we will support him, but if he is only acting on a whim, High Heaven Pavilion cannot continue like this. We should have someone who can take charge of it. But how should we test him? The 4th elder asked softly. Didn't the sect leaders say that he would promote Yang Kai to an ordinary disciple? We can also do something about it. So that's how it is. The 4th elder and the 5th elder suddenly realized. In front of the forest prison, Su Yan and Xia Hongchen were confronting each other. No one dared to move. This situation had lasted for half an hour. Su Yan's body was becoming colder and colder. If it were not for Yang Kai's secret art restraining Su Yan's ice heart's secret art, he would have already been frozen into an ice sculpture. While they were in a deadlock, a disciple of the law enforcement hall hurried over and shouted, "The Elder Council has ordered, release them." What? Xia Hongchen heard this and was stunned. The law enforcement hall disciple bitterly said, "Brother Xia, the several elders have said that today's matter ends here. No one is to pursue this matter further, otherwise the sect will punish them." Xia Hongchen glared at Yang Kai with resentment. He had been waiting for Su Yan to make a move, because as long as Su Yan made a move, he could find an opportunity to kill Yang Kai. But Su Yan did not give him this opportunity. Now that he heard the Elder Council's order, he naturally knew that there was no hope. Gnashing his teeth in grief and indignation, Xie Hongchen roared, "Release them!" Su Yan still supported Yang Kai and led Li Yuntian and the others forward, her expression as calm as an ancient well. Under the complicated gaze of Xie Hongchen, she slowly left. Chapter 78. The lively battle between the younger generation of disciples had come to an end in such a strange manner. Many people felt that it was completely inexplicable. This battle involved a lot of people. The disciplinary hall sent out hundreds of disciples just to stop Su Yan, which also proved her strength. The other main character of this incident, Yang Kai, was also known by many disciples. There were those who disdained him, those who envied him, and all kinds of comments. At this moment, Yang Kai was sleeping. After leaving the forest prison, Yang Kai fell asleep directly. This time, he was beaten up by 5 disciplinary hall disciples. Although the injuries he suffered were not fatal, they were quite serious. If not for the anger in his heart, Yang Kai would have collapsed long ago. Once the matter was settled, there was no more worry in his heart. Naturally, he could not hold on anymore. When he woke up, Kai Yang was surprised to find himself lying on an unfamiliar bed. His whole body was sore. Looking around, he found that this room was very simple and elegant. There wasn't much furniture in the room, it was very quiet and secluded. It was just like Su Yan's house in Black Wind Trade. He struggled to get up. Maybe the noise he made was heard outside. Not long after, Sassafras opened the door and appeared with a touched face. Li Yuntian and the others were all there. They followed Sassafras in and looked at Yang Kai with relief. "Brother Yang, how do you feel?" Sassafras came forward and helped him up. "I'm fine." Yang Kai slightly operated his Yuan Qi and found that there was no big problem. He just needed to rest for a few days. "Brother saved me again this time." "Sassafras, thank you." Sassafras thanked him clumsily. "Don't worry about it." Yang Kai waved his hand. "Oh right, these are the pills my old man gave you. These are all for healing and cultivation." Sassafras took out a dozen bottles and placed them on the bed. "Second elder?" Yang Kai was stunned. "Isn't this too much?" Not much, not much. You were seriously injured this time. You should take care of yourself. Junior brother, please thank the second elder on my behalf." "There's no need to thank him." Sassafras waved his hand, a hint of anger appearing on his face. Su Xianwu also felt that he owed Yang Kai, so he gave him so many pills. After all, if it wasn't for Treasurer Meng bringing the sect master's orders at the last moment, Yang Kai might have been sacrificed by him. Sassafras was infuriated by the way he had handled the situation. This time he asked for a lot of pills for Yang Kai. "Where's senior sister Su Yan?" Yang Kai looked around and asked. Sassafras's expression suddenly became strange. He had naturally heard about Yang Kai's feats from Li Yuntian and the others, and for a moment, his heart was filled with both fear and admiration. Ever since he was young, the feeling Su Yan gave him was not that of an older sister, but more like a mother. In front of Su Yan, Sassafras never dared to breathe loudly. "But look at this senior brother Yang, how bold he is." He actually held his sister's hand in front of hundreds of people, and even said such bold words. After that, he was not killed by his sister. Not only was he not killed, but his sister even arranged for him to recuperate in her own room. This kind of thing was simply unimaginable. In the 2 days that Yang Kai was unconscious, Sassafras had also been thinking hard for 2 days, but he still couldn't figure out the mystery. But why was this so? "AI, brother Yang." Sassafras sighed heavily and patted Yang Kai's shoulder. After a while, he said, "My condolences. Since ancient times, falling flowers have always been heartless. Brother, you need to be more open-minded." Yang Kai stared blankly for a moment, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. He knew that Sassafras had misunderstood him, but he didn't explain and just asked, "Where is she?" This time, it was all thanks to her rescue at the critical moment. Otherwise, Yang Kai might have really used his Yang liquid to kill those disciplinary hall disciples. But facing those people, Yang Kai didn't have the confidence to kill them, so he didn't take the risk. But no matter what, once it came to that point, there was no turning back. After she settled you here, she went to Black Wind Trade. Sassafras replied. Senior sister didn't say anything when she left? Yang Kai was suspicious. Originally, he thought that Su Yen must have something to say to him. After all, his actions at that time were really thoughtless. No. Sassafras slowly shook his head. Yang Kai secretly admired her. This senior sister's personality was really free and easy. When it came to her reputation, she didn't explain the twists and turns to anyone. The truth was clear. After chatting with Sassafras for a while, he left. Lying on the bed, Yang Kai didn't think too much about it. Things had already come to this, so there was no point in thinking about it. It just so happened that Sassafras had brought a lot of pills, so it was time to test whether his conjecture was correct or not. Half of these pills were for healing, while the other half were for cultivation. Overall, their value was definitely not cheap. Yang Kai first took a few healing pills, then silently circulated his true Yang secret art, helping the medicinal efficacies dissolve in his body while carefully feeling the changes in his body. Needless to say, the medicinal efficacies of these healing pills were quite remarkable. The medicinal efficacies flowed through his meridians, and in a short time, began to nourish and repair his wounds, reducing the pain in his wounds. However, Yang Kai was keenly aware that a part of the medicinal efficacies of these pills was actually circulating in his meridians and pouring into his bones. Perceiving this point, Yang Kai raised his eyebrows, becoming more and more certain of his conjecture. In order to verify whether this conjecture was correct, Yang Kai continued to eat all kinds of pills throughout the day. The final result showed that his unyielding golden skeleton could indeed absorb other types of energy that was not of the Yang attribute. As early as a few days ago when he broke through to the initial element realm, Yang Kai had this conjecture, but at that time there was no way to verify it. The true Yang secret art was undoubtedly a special and powerful secret art. It allowed him to condense Yang liquid without limit, and Yang liquid was also very lethal in battle. However, this powerful secret technique had an obvious limitation, and that was that the cultivation environment was too harsh. It was necessary to cultivate in Yang Qi's environment. Originally, Yang Kai was worried that his cultivation would be affected by the environment, but now the unyielding golden skeleton's tolerance allowed him to eliminate this worry. When there was Yang Qi, he could cultivate the true Yang secret art, but when there was no Yang Qi, there was no harm. The unyielding golden skeleton was not picky about its food and would accept any kind of energy. Under this two-pronged approach, his strength would not stop because of a lack of Yang attribute energy. This non-Yang attribute energy would be absorbed by the unyielding golden skeleton, and when it was time to fight, it would be fed back to him, increasing his fighting strength. Yang Kai faintly felt that there was an unclear relationship between his unyielding golden skeleton and the true Yang secret art, but as for what kind of relationship it was, he couldn't figure it out. When Yang Kai came back to his senses, he couldn't help but be shocked. He had unknowingly consumed a total of 5 bottles of pills, and each bottle contained 10 pills. In other words, he had eaten 50 pills. Even if these pills were only ordinary level pills, and their quality was not high, but if an ordinary person ate so many, their body would definitely not be able to withstand it. But right now, he was completely fine, and his injuries were much better. In the darkness, Yang Kai's 2 eyes flashed with a terrifying light, staring at the remaining 7 or 8 bottles of various pills, his heart surging with a crazy idea. Once this idea came out, he couldn't suppress it. After a long silence, Yang Kai finally decided to take a gamble. Reaching out, he picked up a bottle of pills, opened the lid, and poured it all into his mouth, regardless of whether it was a healing pill or a cultivation pill. Picking up another bottle, he poured it into his mouth. After swallowing all of the remaining pills, Yang Kai licked his lips in satisfaction. If others were to see this scene, they would be scared to the point of peeing their pants. Indeed, none of these pills were poisonous, but they couldn't be swallowed as if they were peas. It must be known that every medicine was 30% poisonous, and any kind of pill had a bottom line. Going too far was as bad as going too far. Not only would it not be good for the body, it would also endanger one's health, and even affect one's cultivation base and foundation. But in that short period of time, Kai Yang had swallowed 70 to 80 different pills in one go. Smacking his lips, Yang Kai felt his stomach bulging. Countless weak and gentle medicinal powers mixed in his stomach, and not long after, they converged into a frightening energy. Yang Kai was already prepared and hurriedly circulated the true Yang's secret art. The energy was like a dragon that had broken out of its cage, churning in his stomach. Yang Kai groaned, feeling as if his entire abdomen was being torn apart. The speed of the true Yang's secret art circulation suddenly increased a lot, as if it had an endless attractive force. The energy condensed from the 70 to 80 pills was pulled by this attractive force, slowly merging into his meridians. Yang Kai didn't dare to relax in the slightest, and used his heart to feel. This dragon-like energy was moving in his meridians, but it was incompatible with the true Yang Yuan Qi. Although the two were mixed with each other, they simply wouldn't merge. Not only that, but the direction in which these two kinds of energy flowed in his meridians was also completely different. The true Yang Yuan Qi circulated clockwise, while this huge medicinal effect circulated counterclockwise, colliding with each other endlessly. Every time they collided, the true Yang Yuan Qi would burn away the harmful substances in the medicinal effect, leaving behind the pure energy. Yang Kai's body flickered, and his skin turned red in an instant. Under his skin, every meridian seemed to be crawling with insects, swelling endlessly, looking very frightening. With the passage of time, the impurities in this huge amount of energy were removed, and little by little it entered his bones. At this moment, the unyielding golden skeleton seemed to have turned into a hungry fountain, swallowing large mouthfuls of energy. Under the severe pain, Yang Kai's senses were clearer than ever. It was as if his body had a pair of eyes. He could see how the true Yang Yuan Qi refined this energy, and he could also see how the unyielding golden skeleton received this refined energy, not missing a single trace. Faintly, Yang Kai recalled the several battles he had experienced after obtaining the unyielding golden skeleton. Blood splattered everywhere, and his body was in pain, but he was excited and bloodthirsty. Every time, accompanied by pain and an unyielding will, his strength would rapidly increase, and he would be able to defeat and behead opponents who were stronger than him. Especially the battle 2 days ago in the forest prison, where he was beaten up by 5 opponents who were far more powerful than him. Every scene was clearly presented in his mind. His blood began to boil once again, and his bones began to produce a familiar warmth. The energy that had been swallowed up by the unyielding golden skeleton was now being fed back to him, temporarily increasing his strength. Still not enough. Yang Kai felt that he was still missing something before he could truly comprehend the mysteries of the unyielding golden skeleton. I'm still missing a real battle. Thinking of this, Yang Kai suddenly jumped out of bed, gasping for breath as he pushed open the door. Looking left and right, he walked straight to the opposite room and kicked it open. Yang Kai estimated that Sassafras should be sleeping in the opposite room because he had heard some movement not long ago. If he wanted to find someone to fight, Sassafras would be a good candidate. Opening the door, Yang Kai immediately saw a smooth back. Just as he was about to blurt out a challenge, he swallowed it back down. Under the moonlight, by the windowsill, a graceful and delicate figure tugged at his heartstrings. White and smooth skin. Looking back, he could see thousands of people shaking. This scene was truly thrilling, and Yang Kai's 3 souls and 7 spirits almost flew out of his body. There was indeed someone in this room, but it wasn't Sassafras as Yang Kai had imagined, but it was Su Yan. Chapter 79. At this moment, Su Yan was only wearing a corset and panties. Her back was as white as jade, her buttocks were round, and her long and slender legs were exposed to the air. Large patches of snow-white skin were unreservedly imprinted in Yang Kai's eyes. Even though it was nighttime, Kai Yang could still see it clearly. The curve of her back was so perfect. Her slender shoulders exuded an alluring luster, and her slender waist was exquisite and graceful. It set off her moderately sized buttocks, and her sparkling and translucent skin made people's blood boil. The tight little panties around her buttocks were even more enticing. Because her skin was very white, and because her corset and panties were white, at first glance, one would think that she was completely naked. Perhaps because she heard the movement behind her, she crossed one hand in front of her chest, half of her body looking towards the door, while the other hand was holding a white nightgown. It seemed that she was in the middle of changing her clothes. The two people's eyes met in midair. Yang Kai's expression was stunned, and his gaze lingered on her full breasts. Su Yan's beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of murderous intent, and her shoulders trembled slightly, because she saw two bloodshot eyes. These eyeballs were like a vicious wolf searching for food in the snow, or like a hungry ghost wandering around her pure and clean body without the slightest scruple. Not only that, but the man opposite her was also panting heavily, as if he was restless. Gotcha! With Su Yan as the center, a layer of frost quickly spread around her. Her dark red lips pursed, and her eyes were cold. Yang Kai finally realized that the situation was bad. His body turned, and his speed increased to the limit, quickly escaping the scene. His speed was very fast, and in less than 3 breaths of time, he had rushed out of the house. But before he could distinguish between north and south, a loud noise suddenly came from behind him. A large hole was broken open in the house, and a pure white figure flew out from inside, landing on Yang Kai's face. Her expression was cold, but there was also a trace of shame and anger. Yang Kai vigilantly retreated a few steps and put on a defensive posture. His mind raced, thinking about how to explain. But when he thought about it carefully, he knew that there was nothing he could say to defend himself. No matter what he said, it would be useless. No matter which girl had her body seen like this, she would not let it go easily. At this moment, Su Yan had already put on her clothes. She coldly stared at Yang Kai. Although she was so angry that she wanted to kill him, she knew that Yang Kai didn't do it on purpose. He probably didn't expect that she would return from Black Wind Trade and live in the room opposite his. This could only be said to be a misunderstanding. But even if it was a misunderstanding, Su Yan couldn't let it go so easily. She was waiting for an explanation that would calm her anger. However, the man who had seen her body didn't say a word. His eyes were still red, and a strong fighting spirit was emitted from his body. He didn't have the slightest bit of timidity or shame in front of her. Very well, I don't need your explanation. I just want to beat you up to vent my anger. An ice flower quietly appeared on Su Yan's fingertips, and with a flick of her finger, the ice flower spun and flew towards Yang Kai. As it flew, the ice flower began to grow. By the time it reached Yang Kai, the ice flower had already grown to the size of a wash basin, and its speed was extremely fast. Yang Kai didn't dare to be the slightest bit negligent. His true Yang Yuan Qi burst out and punched the ice flower. His fist hurt. The ice flower's ice attribute and the Yang attribute's true Yang Yuan Qi just so happened to counter each other. With this punch, the wash basin-sized ice flower was directly shattered. The shattered ice flower turned into countless icicles and shot towards Yang Kai. Yang Kai didn't have time to react. In an instant, more than a dozen wounds appeared on his body, dripping with blood. His body that had not yet fully healed looked even more shaky. Yang Kai roared in a low voice, and his unyielding golden skeleton once again played its role. A warm feeling spread throughout his body, and his strength slowly increased. Su Yan's beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. She had thought that she would be able to knock Yang Kai unconscious with this move, but she had not expected that he would actually be able to resolve it. Her figure flickered, and like a fairy descending from the heavens, Su Yan approached Yang Kai and pointed a finger at Yang Kai's shoulder. A cold feeling spread across his shoulder, causing Yang Kai to stagger back. Turning his head, he couldn't help but squint as he saw a snowy white frost appear on his shoulder. Moreover, this frost seemed to be condensing into an ice flower. Without the slightest hesitation, Yang Kai tore open his clothes and condensed a drop of yang liquid at his fingertips, directly sprinkling it on his shoulder. With a sizzling sound, Yang Kai's shoulder seemed to have been branded red by a hot iron. In an instant, it became extremely red, but the spreading frost was also quickly reduced by the drop of yang liquid, disappearing in the blink of an eye. Su Yan was even more surprised. She had never thought that Yang Kai would be able to use such an incredible method to resolve her cold ice strength. Her beautiful eyes filled with frost, Su Yan directly rolled up 1,000 layers of snow, her graceful body hidden in this wave of snow, directly rolling towards Yang Kai. Like the power of an avalanche, the momentum was tremendous, and Yang Kai was instantly wrapped in the wave of snow. A piercing chill rose from the bottom of his heart. Even though he cultivated the true Yang secret art, at this moment, Yang Kai had the illusion that he was about to be frozen into an ice sculpture. He knew that senior sister Su Yan was angry. Although there was no murderous intent in her moves, it was clear that she wanted to teach him a lesson. This situation was exactly what Yang Kai had intended. Although his opponent was unreachable and he was unable to resist, he could use her to comprehend what he had just learned. This opponent was 1,000 times better than Sassafras. Inside the wave of snow, Su Yan repeatedly attacked Yang Kai, but he was unable to resolve it. A series of muffled groans rang out as blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. His body trembled as he struggled to resist the invasion of the cold. In this adversity, Yang Kai's feelings became clearer and clearer, and he suddenly gave up resisting, allowing Su Yan to attack him. "What's wrong? What's wrong?" The commotion had finally disturbed those who were sleeping soundly. Second Elder Su Xianwu was the first to rush to the scene, followed by Sassafras, Li Yuntian, and the others. When they saw the situation, everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. In the midst of the snowstorm, Yang Kai's upper body was bare, his eyes closed as he withstood Su Yan's fierce attacks. His seemingly thin body was like a ragged sack, being hit here and there by Su Yan, flying through the air but unable to land. "See!" Sassafras sucked in a breath of cold air. "How did Brother Yang provoke elder sister? Is senior sister taking revenge for what happened a few days ago?" Li Yuntian was horrified. That must be it, otherwise, with senior sister's temperament, how could she beat Brother Yang like this? Poor Brother Yang, his injuries haven't even healed yet he's met with such a disaster. Senior sister is too ruthless. The whispers of this group of people entered Su Yan's ears, which made her even angrier. Today, it was because Kai Yang had seen her body that she had decided to teach him a lesson. But from these people's mouths, it was as if she was the one with a small heart and a chicken's intestines. Su Yan's attacks became even more ruthless. Chapter 80. Su Xianwu squinted his eyes as he stared at the beaten Yang Kai, asking curiously, "He seems to be comprehending something." "What do you mean?" Sassafras couldn't understand. Su Xianwu slowly shook his head and didn't explain. In his eyes, although Yang Kai's current situation was tragic, it was obvious that he was using this battle to comprehend something. Perhaps it was a kind of state of mind, or perhaps it was a martial skill. Wrapped in the cold air, Yang Kai's shivering body seemed to emit a blazing flame. Once this flame ignited, he would be reborn and enter a new level. If he could succeed, his future achievements would be extraordinary. Su Xianwu had never seen a cultivator who could enter such a deep level of comprehension when their strength was so low. It was simply a miracle. "Grandfather, if elder sister continues to beat him like this, I'm afraid Brother Yang will die," Sassafras said anxiously. Su Xianwu shook his head. "Yin knows how to control her strength. There is no killing intent in her moves. She is not trying to take Yang Kai's life." Saying so, he muttered to himself, "Strange, why would Yen'er hit him?" Even with Su Xianwu's age, he couldn't imagine what had happened just now to make Su Yan so angry. The snowstorm receded as Su Yan's body floated in the air while Yang Kai was thrown directly to the ground. His clothes were tattered, and his exposed skin was blue and purple from frostbite. As he neared the ground, Kai Yang suddenly rolled over and landed firmly on the ground. Opening his eyes, he looked up. Under the star field, Su Yan's white robes fluttered in the wind, like a fairy descending to the world. Behind her, a full moon hung, her robes fluttering in the night wind. His otherworldly and noble temperament gave birth to a sense of humility for no reason. Kacha. With a series of cracking sounds, Yang Kai's entire body was quickly covered in a layer of frost before a huge block of ice wrapped around him. The block of ice had sharp edges and was crystal clear. Through the layer of ice, every strand of Yang Kai's hair could be seen clearly. Even his expression was stiff on his face. Su Yan didn't say anything, only giving Yang Kai a deep look before turning around and returning to the room. The beautiful scene from just now was left in Yang Kai's eyes. Guard him. When the ice breaks, he will succeed. Su Xianwu solemnly instructed Sassafras. Sassafras nervously, sweating, "Grandfather, won't Brother Yang freeze to death?" Xianwu laughed. "He won't, this is his good fortune." Saying so, he turned around and left. Only then did Su Mu and a group of people quietly walk forward, surrounding the huge ice block one by one and beating it incessantly. However, this was condensed by Su Yan's ice force, so how could they destroy it? This is bad, Brother Yang has not recovered from his injuries, and now he is frozen inside. I'm afraid his little brother will freeze to death. What should we do? As soon as he finished speaking, he was glared at by Sassafras. Didn't you hear what my grandfather said? This is Brother Yang's good fortune. Don't move. If you break this ice, you may hurt Brother Yang. Let's just stay here and guard. The group nodded in response. After guarding until 5 o'clock, the block of ice was still motionless. Yang Kai, who was frozen inside, was like a living corpse. His breathing was weak, but his eyes were fixed on the spot where Su Yan disappeared. Sassafras and the others thought about it and decided to leave 2 people here to guard while the others did what they were supposed to do. This situation lasted for 3 full days. In front of a small building, there was a living person sealed inside an ice sculpture. The scene was as strange as it could be. Sassafras and the others did not know how many shifts they had taken, but every time they left 2 people here to guard, there was still no sign of the ice breaking, causing them to be so anxious that the corners of their mouths started to blister. During these 3 days, Yang Kai did not feel the passage of time at all. Although his eyes were always open, he could not see anything. His mind was completely immersed in enlightenment. Feeling the movement of the bones in his body, feeling the warmth brought about by his unyielding willpower, feeling how his strength grew bit by bit after this warmth spread throughout his body. The ice left behind by Su Yan provided him with a very good space to comprehend. The ice force contained in the ice was constantly eroding his body, penetrating his meridians. This kind of ice force was not something that the current Yang Kai could resist, but he was able to resist every time, relying on the wonders of the unyielding golden skeleton. After resisting hundreds and thousands of times, Yang Kai understood the mysteries of the unyielding golden skeleton and understood why it could increase his strength. The small burning fire seed in his body expanded little by little until today. After understanding the mysteries of the unyielding golden skeleton, the fire seed instantly ignited, emitting a monstrous heat wave from his body. Suddenly, a cracking sound rang out. Sassafras and Li Yuntian, who were standing guard at the side, were alarmed by this movement and quickly turned their heads to look. What they saw was that the huge ice cube had actually cracked open one after another, densely packed like a spider's web. "Brother Yang is coming out," Sassafras declared in surprise. Sure enough, as soon as his voice fell, the ice cube exploded, turning into specks of light that disappeared into the air. Yang Kai stood in place, covered in blood. His upper body was still somewhat thin, but his brows were furrowed, as if he was deep in thought. Sassafras and Li Yuntian didn't dare to disturb him, so they quietly waited. After a long while, the worry on Yang Kai's face suddenly disappeared. He smiled and said, "If that's the case, then I'll call you Unyielding Will." Unyielding Will was something that Yang Kai had comprehended in these 3 days. It was a mysterious martial skill that couldn't be used to attack, but could be used to strengthen one's body. This was a martial skill that he had comprehended from the unyielding golden skeleton, and was closely related to the unyielding golden skeleton. Only when he was in adversity and had an unyielding will, could he activate this mysterious martial skill. Once he used it, the unyielding golden skeleton would provide him with energy, temporarily increasing his strength. Although he had unintentionally activated the unyielding will before, But for a martial skill, knowing its principles and not knowing its principles made a huge difference. It could be said that until now, Yang Kai had truly mastered this mysterious martial skill, a martial skill that belonged only to him. It wouldn't be like before, where once he was injured or stimulated, he would involuntarily activate the unyielding will. Although the harvest was huge, Yang Kai was still somewhat unsatisfied. This was because he could feel that the unyielding golden skeletons still hid some other mysteries that he hadn't seen through yet. He had to say that it was a pity. Yang Kai comforted himself. There's still a long way to go, there's no need to rush. Only when Yang Kai started to move did Sassafras and Li Yuntian dare to step forward and ask with concern, "Brother Yang, are you okay?" "Very good." Yang Kai moved his arms and legs, and suddenly found that the injuries he had suffered a few days ago were all healed. "You better put on your clothes, otherwise when sister comes back and sees you, she'll beat you up again." Sassafras was worried. Chapter 81. In the courtyard of Sky Tower's second elder, Yang Kai was wolfing down food while Sassafras and the others sat beside him and chatted with him. Of course, they were also inquiring about why Su Yen had dealt such a heavy blow to Yang Kai that night, but Yang Kai didn't dare to say anything. "That's right, Wei Zhuan didn't bother you again, right?" Yang Kai changed the topic. Ever since he left the forest prison that day, he had been unconscious and frozen in ice. Yang Kai really didn't know how the sect dealt with this matter. That matter is already in the past. In the pavilion, from the elders to us younger disciples, no one will bother with that matter anymore. Sassafras replied, then suddenly looked at Yang Kai with a puzzled expression. "Actually, the reason why we are safe and sound this time is not because of my grandfather." "Hm?" Yang Kai raised his head. "Isn't it because of the second elder's actions?" Sassafras slowly shook his head, and somewhat embarrassedly told Yang Kai about what happened that day in the Elder Hall, then said, "Guess who came when I was stopped by my grandfather?" You would never have guessed that it was actually Treasurer Meng from the Contribution Hall. He brought the sect leader's jade pendant and also the sect leader's instructions. That's how he managed to turn the matter into a small one. Old Man Meng? Yang Kai was stunned. "If it wasn't for him, Brother Yang, I'm afraid you would have been severely punished by the first elder," Sassafras said with a face full of guilt. Yang Kai smiled freely. "Junior brother, don't take it to heart." Sassafras repeatedly bowed. "Brother, I know that the master is magnanimous. I'll apologize to you on behalf of my grandfather. Old Man Meng really didn't do the right thing this time." Yang Kai didn't take it to heart. When the upper echelons fought, they would always use their disciples as chess pieces. This was human nature. Sassafras continued, "Treasurer Meng's origin is mysterious. Old Man Meng also said that his strength is unfathomable. I just don't know why he got involved in this matter, and why he even has a relationship with the sect leader." Yang Kai pondered. Old Man Meng is the kind of person who doesn't take advantage of opportunities. If there is no benefit, he wouldn't do such a thing. He must have a motive. But no matter what, it is a fact that he helped us. "Senior brother, you're right. We're waiting for you to join us," Sumu said. "Let's go now." There was no time to lose. A group of people majestically charged towards the Contribution Hall. Inside the Contribution Hall, Treasurer Meng was not sleeping, but instead was sitting behind the counter, smiling at Yang Kai's group as they entered, as if he had been waiting for them. "Grandpa." In the past, this second generation had always called Treasurer Meng Old Man Meng. But today, Sassafras didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of him. Treasurer Meng smiled. "You're a good boy." Sassafras was embarrassed. "You're here to thank me?" Treasurer Meng looked at everyone. The group nodded. "That's enough. Little Yang Kai stays. The rest of you can leave." "Yes." Su Mu and the others didn't dare to hesitate. Before the soles of their feet had even warmed, they hurriedly bowed and retreated. After leaving the Contribution Hall, everyone understood that the reason Treasurer Meng had helped them was all because of Kai Yang. Otherwise, why would he leave senior brother Yang behind? But why did he help brother Yang? Inside the Contribution Hall, Yang Kai was also puzzled. Treasurer Meng, what do you want from me? He didn't beat around the bush. Instead, he directly asked the question in his heart. Meng Wuya laughed and walked out from behind the counter. With his hands behind his back, he walked in circles around Yang Kai. After walking a few circles, he raised his head and asked, "What do you think I want from you?" "I don't know." Yang Kai rolled his eyes. "If I knew, why would I ask you?" Meng Wuya continued, "Since you're so honest, I won't play dumb with you. You should be a person who knows how to repay kindness. This time, I'm helping you out because I want you to do me a favor." Yang Kai frowned. "How can I help you?" Treasurer Meng's strength was profound. If he couldn't do it, how could he? As if he saw through Yang Kai's worries, Treasurer Meng smiled. "Don't worry, there's no danger. As long as you meet the conditions, not only will there be no danger, there will also be great benefits waiting for you." Yang Kai was keenly aware that when Treasurer Meng said that last sentence, there was a hidden pain on his face. "You want me to meet the conditions to help you?" Yang Kai was even more puzzled. He had never seen such a person who was so picky when asking for help. Treasurer Meng said, "Not only do you have to meet my conditions, you also have to satisfy the other person." "That's too troublesome, I won't do it." Yang Kai was about to leave. "Don't." Treasurer Meng was anxious. It wasn't easy to find someone who met his conditions. How could he let him go like this? "Little Yang Kai, you can't be like this. You should know that a drop of water should be repaid with a spring of water. No matter what, this old man is your savior. How can you let me down? Then you don't have to beat around the bush. Tell me what you want. If I can help, I will. If I can't, then you can find someone else. Give me your hand. I want to check the yuan qi in your body." Treasurer Meng didn't dare to keep him in suspense. Yang Kai suspiciously looked at him and stretched out his hand. He believed that Treasurer Meng wouldn't do anything to harm him. Meng Wuya stretched out 2 fingers and placed them on Yang Kai's wrist. His face was serious as he examined it. His expression kept changing. At first, it was indifferent, but then it changed to a serious expression. His expression changed so quickly that it made people dumbfounded. Good, good, good. What a pure yang qi. Meng Wuya retracted his hand. He was overjoyed. Does this have something to do with the yuan qi I've cultivated? Yang Kai guessed. Of course it has something to do with it. Meng Wuya nodded. Why else would I look for you? Little Yang Kai, I want to ask you a question. You must answer me honestly. What question? Meng Wuya's expression suddenly became awkward. His eyes drifted around as he carefully considered his words. After a long time, he nervously and expectantly asked, You're still a virgin, right? Because he was too nervous, Meng Wuya stretched his neck and put his face in front of Yang Kai. His 2 eyes stared straight at him. Yang Kai quickly retreated 2 steps. Then 3 steps. Goosebumps appeared all over his body. He couldn't help but shiver. He vigilantly asked, What are you doing? This old man, did he have some kind of special fetish? This question was too nonsensical. Why did you run so far? This old man won't eat you. Meng Wuya chased Yang Kai until he was forced into a corner. He mysteriously asked in a low voice, Are you still a virgin or not? What do you want? Yang Kai put on, If you dare to mess around, I'll take you down with me, posture. What do you think this old man is? Meng Wuya saw Yang Kai's appearance and finally woke up. He couldn't help but blush. He quickly retreated a few steps. It's not what you think. You brat, how can you be so dirty? Chapter 82. I don't know who's the dirty one, staring at other girls' buttocks and thighs all day long. Yang Kai mercilessly retorted. You're talking about this again. Meng Wuya was scared and looked around. Not knowing who heard him, he cupped his hands and said, Young Master Yang, Uncle Yang, let's not talk about this again, okay? This old man just wants to see how they're developing, not do anything to them. Seeing him admit defeat, Yang Kai didn't continue to pursue the matter and said seriously, What you want me to help you with, is it related to this? Speaking of business, Meng Wuya's expression became serious. So little Yang Kai, you have to tell me the truth. Have you ever had sex with a girl? Cough cough, huh? This is a serious matter. Yang Kai's face was embarrassed. He sniffed and said, I haven't. Good. Meng Wuya's heart finally dropped. Very good. Little Yang Kai, you're a good man. In this era, many men at the age of 14 or 15 had intimate contact with women. The children of poor families didn't need to be mentioned. They started their families early in order to continue the family line. The children of rich families didn't need to be mentioned. They didn't even need to be mentioned. They already had several maids. Only a cultivator, as long as they weren't too lustful, would lose their virginity very late. Some cultivators would never have intimate contact with the opposite sex. In the eyes of a cultivator who pursued cultivation and strength, the prosperity of the world was just a dream. After 100 years, a beautiful woman would be nothing more than a skeleton. Only the peak of the martial path was their goal. Once they were strong, would they be afraid of not being able to find a woman? Among the male disciples of Sky Tower, there were many 15 to 16 years old who wandered around the brothels. Although Meng Wuya believed that Yang Kai wasn't that kind of person, he still had to be cautious and ask clearly. In other words, I can help you? Yang Kai looked at Meng Wuya. If you can't, then no one in the world can. You've passed my test. Meng Wuya was in a good mood and couldn't help but laugh. Then you just said that you want another person to be satisfied? Yang Kai asked doubtfully. Meng Wuya's smile disappeared and his expression became strange. He nodded and said, yes, we have to satisfy her. If she isn't satisfied, then this matter can't be done. To tell you the truth, a few months ago, I found someone who fit the criteria, but she wasn't willing, so I could only drop the matter. Forget it, I'll take you to see her. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. After talking for a long time, Meng Wuya didn't know how to continue. He could only sigh faintly and lead Yang Kai outside. Yang Kai hurriedly said, let me say this first. I'm only here to help you, to thank you for your kindness. If that person wants me to do something too excessive, I won't agree. Smelly brat. Meng Wuya was in a gloomy mood, so when he heard Yang Kai's excuses, he couldn't help but feel annoyed. He thought that if this brat knew how to help, then he would definitely agree. But now he's acting like a good boy in front of me. As he followed Meng Wuya, Yang Kai discovered that the two of them were actually heading towards the coiling dragon stream. Moreover, this direction was where he usually cultivated. Why would he want to go there? When he usually cultivated, he didn't see anyone there. The coiling dragon stream was a dangerous place, so very few people would go there. When they were about 100 feet away from his usual cultivation spot, Meng Wuya suddenly stopped and pointed in front of them. Look there. Yang Kai looked up and couldn't help but be startled. At the place where he usually cultivated, there was actually a woman standing in front of the 3 sunfruit trees that he planted. She was wearing a light green dress. He didn't know what she was thinking about, but she was actually in a trance. Her body didn't move at all, and she allowed the wind to blow as her clothes fluttered. She was wearing a veil, so people couldn't see her face clearly. Her forehead was adorned with a blue gem, which made her look so elegant and refined. She had a slender figure that seemed to be too weak to stand up to a gust of wind, but her figure was graceful. Her watery eyes were full of innocence, making her look like a child who hadn't grown up yet. Seeing her, Yang Kai remembered that night, under the moonlight, the sleeping beauty on his bed. It's her. Yang Kai's eyes suddenly softened. You know her? Meng Wuya suddenly became alert. His precious disciple had told him that she had never spoken to Yang Kai before. How was it that when it came to Yang Kai, the two of them already knew each other? The one who wants my help is her? Yang Kai looked at Meng Wuya and asked. Meng Wuya nodded. I'll help. Contrary to Treasurer Meng's expectations, Yang Kai didn't hesitate and directly agreed. Meng Wuya had asked him to prepare a speech, such as using reason to persuade with emotion, enticing with benefits, threatening with force. All of it was useless. Meng Wuya's heart suddenly had a bad feeling, and he suddenly regretted looking for Yang Kai. Why did you agree so quickly? Old man Meng was vigilant. Wasn't it you who wanted my help? Yang Kai frowned and looked at Meng Wuya with a puzzled expression. This old man's attitude had changed too quickly. I did want your help, but you agreed too quickly. Meng Wuya waved his hand. You have to give me an explanation. Then do you want my help or not? Yang Kai was impatient. Of course I want it. Then why are you still asking? Isn't it a good thing that I agreed? That's right, wasn't it a good thing that he agreed so quickly? Why did he feel that something was wrong? Meng Wuya was stunned. Yang Kai walked over step by step. The sound of his footsteps startled Xia Ningchang, who was deep in thought. When she came back to her senses, Yang Kai had already arrived by her side. Xia Ningchang was clearly shocked, and looked at Yang Kai helplessly. She couldn't help but panic. She had met with him twice at night, and both times something embarrassing had happened, so how could Xia Ningchang remain calm? Senior Sister Xia. Yang Kai looked at her. Why are you here? I came to help you look after the fruits. You haven't been here for a few days, so I was afraid that these fruits had been picked by someone else. Xia Ningchang quickly explained. Yang Kai turned his head to look, and found that the fruits on the 3 trees he had planted before were all gone, leaving only the last tree with 3 fruits that were about to ripen. These are your fruits, I refined them into pills. As Xia Ningchang spoke, she took out a small bottle and handed it to Yang Kai. Yang Kai took it, and found that there were 9 red pills rolling around in the bottle, emitting a strong yang energy. They were very pure, without any other ingredients mixed in. But how could a single 3-sun fruit be used to refine pills? Senior Sister knew that I was cultivating here? Yang Kai looked up and asked. If not, why would she help him look after the 3 suns fruit tree? Xia Ningchang avoided his gaze. I saw it by accident. So the person that night was you. Yang Kai smiled and his heart warmed. Chapter 83. That night, when Yang Kai was breaking through to the initial element realm, a masked woman had ambushed him. At first, he thought that she was trying to kill him, but in the end he realized that wasn't the case. She only wanted to help him. Otherwise, with her strength, he wouldn't have been able to resist. At that time, Yang Kai had some doubts. Now, he had finally confirmed the masked woman's identity. At this moment, Yang Kai's heart was filled with gratitude towards this senior Sister Xia. Old Man Meng stepped out at the wrong time and stood between Kai Yang and Xia Ningchang. Like a mother hen protecting her chicks, he protected his precious disciple behind him. Yang Kai looked at him suspiciously. You know each other? Meng Wuya snorted, his face full of pride and satisfaction. This is my disciple. Your disciple? Yang Kai's jaw almost hit the ground. His eyes kept moving between Xia Ningchang and Meng Wuya, full of disbelief. Who would have thought that such an unreliable person like Treasurer Meng would actually accept a disciple? Wasn't this leading to the wrong disciple? You two know each other? Meng Wuya looked at Yang Kai. No. Xia Ningchang's answer was very simple and decisive. While speaking, she hid behind Meng Wuya and waved her small hands. Understanding her intentions, Kai Yang chuckled. We don't really know each other, it's just that senior sister helped me out a little that night. Meng Wuya nodded slightly. Xia Ningchang had also told him about this matter. It was because of that night that Xia Ningchang felt that Yang Kai's yang qi was very pure. Treasurer Meng, what does senior sister Xia want me to help with? Can you tell me? Yang Kai's expression became serious. Since it was Xia Ningchang's matter, Yang Kai naturally wouldn't refuse. Meng Wuya didn't answer. He just looked at his precious disciple and asked, Can he do it? Xia Ningchang's delicate earlobes suddenly turned red. She lowered her eyes, and her long eyelashes trembled. After a long while, she nodded imperceptibly. Seeing her like this, Meng Wuya couldn't help but sigh. Fine. We don't have much time left. He's the one. Kai Yang stood to the side and watched, but didn't ask anything. After a while, Meng Wuya suddenly asked seriously, Yang Kai, do you know that there are some people in this world who are born different from the rest? These people are born with abilities that ordinary people can't see through. Yang Kai's expression turned serious as he whispered, Treasurer Meng, are you talking about those with special constitutions? That's right. Meng Wuya nodded. These people are blessed by the heavens and are also favored by the heavens. Some people's constitutions are suitable for cultivation. Some people's constitutions are easy to heal after being injured. Some people's constitutions are suitable for battle. There are all kinds of strange constitutions, but no matter which one it is, as long as they have a special constitution, they can reach heights that no one else could ever hope to reach in their territory. Ordinary people like us are very envious of people with special constitutions. However, people with special constitutions are very rare. In 1,000,000 people, there might not even be one. Little Yang Kai, you're lucky. Today, I'll let you see someone with special constitutions. Yang Kai's expression turned cold. He looked at Xia Ningqiang, who was standing behind Meng Wuya, with surprise. Could it be that senior sister Xia? Huh? Meng Wuya's face was filled with pride as he smiled happily. He nodded slightly. That's right. Ningqiang's constitution is different from ordinary people. Yang Kai's emotions fluctuated. He never thought that this easily shy and timid senior sister would be such a lucky person. What kind of constitution does senior sister have? Yang Kai couldn't help but be curious. Meng Wuya didn't answer. Instead, he muttered to himself for a moment before opening his mouth. The fruits on this tree have just ripened. Disciple, go and pick them. Ningqiang followed his instructions and walked to the last 3 suns fruit tree. Then she gently plucked the 3 fruits from the tree. Yang Kai didn't interrupt. He felt that his doubts would be answered soon. Disciple, let him see your abilities. Meng Wuya chuckled. Xia Ningqiang nodded slightly. She walked in front of Yang Kai and stretched out her delicate hand. That hand was white and slender. In her delicate palm were the 3 suns fruits that had just been plucked. Junior brother, please take a look. Xia Ningqiang said softly. She slightly circulated the yuan qi in her body. Yang Kai's expression suddenly became shocked. This was because he discovered that as Xia Ningqiang circulated her energy, the 3 suns fruits in her small hand actually overflowed with red energy. That was the yuan qi contained within the fruits. Yang Kai practiced the true yang tactics, so he was very sensitive to the yuan qi. Naturally, he could feel that the energy within the 3 suns fruits was being crazily extracted. But how did this happen? The energy that leaked out from the 3 suns fruit gathered in front of Xia Ningqiang. No matter how strong the wind blew, it did not disperse. In less than 10 breaths of time, the 3 suns fruits had lost their original color and luster. Not only that, the 3 suns fruits quickly dried up. When the wind blew, they turned into fine powder and dissipated into the air. Xia Ningqiang moved again. She held the condensed yang yuan qi in one hand while her other hand danced in the air. Following her movements, the yang qi under the coiling dragon stream rose into the air like pillars of water. They all rushed towards Xia Ningqiang. She casually grabbed a strand of energy and threw it into the red mass of energy in front of her. Her hands moved faster and faster. Each grab was able to grab the yang qi that rushed out of the coiling dragon stream and merge it into the red mass of energy in front of her. As time passed, the red mass of energy in front of her didn't become much bigger. Instead, it became smaller and smaller. However, the amount of yang yuan qi it contained was increasing. After a while, Xia Ningqiang finally stopped grabbing the yang yuan qi from the coiling dragon stream. Her 2 hands pressed the red mass of energy towards the center. Her 2 palms quickly closed together. When she opened her palms again, there were 3 bright red pills in her hands. The pills were round and attractive. The pill halo and pill veins were clearly visible. Kai Yang was already dumbstruck. The scene in front of him could only be described as godly. There was no other way to describe it. At this moment, Yang Kai finally understood how senior sister Xia had given him the bottle of pills. All of them were refined this way. However, wasn't this a bit too simple and easy? Alchemists were rare to begin with. When refining pills, there was also a risk of failure. Furthermore, when alchemists were refining pills, they also needed special tools, such as a medicinal furnace and furnace fire. However, this senior sister Xia in front of him had only used her hands. Other than the 3 suns fruit, she didn't use any other materials. Yet, she was able to easily refine 3 pills. For you. Xia Ningqiang extended her hand in front of Yang Kai. Yang Kai took a deep breath and calmed the shock in his heart. He picked up the 3 pills and carefully sensed them. He found that each of these pills contained more Yang Yuan Qi than a single 3 suns fruit. After all, when refining these 3 pills, Xia Ningqiang had borrowed the Yang Qi from the coiling dragon stream. Senior sister, if you were to refine pills, I'm afraid that the people from Medicine King Valley wouldn't have any business. Yang Kai smiled bitterly. He had never seen anyone who could simplify refining pills to such an extent. Chapter 84. Even those in Medicine King's Valley who claim to be alchemists for a living may not have the same level of attainments as Xia Ningqiang. What kind of physique does senior sister have? Yang Kai turned his head and asked. Meng Wuya replied in a deep voice, Sacred Spirit Medicine Body. It's related to alchemy? Correct. Meng Wuya nodded. This physique is very special and may not appear even once in 1,000 years. Those who possess the Sacred Spirit Medicine Body will not suffer from any side effects when taking pills. You should also know that every medicine has a side effect. Although there are many pills that can assist in cultivation and even increase a person's strength, there is still a limit. However, there was a limit to how many dawn a person could take. The Sacred Spirit Medicine Body was different. It could be said that the Sacred Spirit Medicine Body was the best medicine furnace in the world. Once the dawn entered the stomach, anything harmful could be refined. This senior sister of yours has only cultivated for 5 years and has already reached the peak of separation and reunion boundary. If I had not deliberately suppressed her cultivation, she would have already broken through to Yuan Qi boundary. Yang Kai was shocked. 5 years to reach the peak of separation and reunion boundary? Even Xie Hongchen was only at this level. How long had he cultivated? More than 10 years? Moreover, this was after suppressing her cultivation. If she had not suppressed it, wouldn't it mean that she was even more powerful than Su Yan? Yang Kai blushed with shame. Compared to this senior sister, the difference was like heaven and earth. The one in front of him was the greatest genius of High Heaven Pavilion. However, senior sister Xia being able to grow so quickly was inseparable from the large number of pills she took. Meng Wuya continued. The Sacred Spirit Medicine Body does not only have these benefits. If one cultivates a divine skill that is compatible with it, then as long as there is energy in the world, they can be refined into pills. Even the world's world energy, as long as disciple is willing, can be refined into pills. Anything in the world, as long as there is energy, can be refined into pills. If the world's world energy could be refined, then the 3 suns fruit would naturally not be a problem. Yang Kai could almost foresee that this senior sister Xia would definitely be the best alchemist in the world in the future. Just based on her unique physique, no one could compare to her. This time, Ningqiang wants to break through to the Yuan Qi stage, but before that, she needs to refine something into her body. She can't do it alone. Meng Wuya looked at Yang Kai seriously. Is that why you need my help? Yang Kai asked. Meng Wuya nodded. What kind of thing? The 9th Yin Yuan condensing dew. This thing is extremely beneficial to condensing Yuan Qi. If not for the fact that I wanted Ningqiang to refine this thing, I wouldn't have suppressed her cultivation. When one advanced from separation and reunion level to Yuan Qi level, the Yuan Qi in one's body would be transformed into Yuan Qi, and its quality would be improved by countless levels. This was a process that every cultivator would have to go through. However, during this process, if one supplemented it with a few heavenly treasures, then the quality of the transformed Yuan Qi would be better. The 9th Yin Yuan condensing dew was clearly such a heavenly treasure, and it was definitely the best heavenly treasure. The 9th Yin Yuan condensing dew has its own spirituality, so it's very difficult to obtain it. If someone who doesn't meet the requirements touches it, it will immediately turn into spirit qi and disappear. Only those who cultivate the yang attribute Yuan Qi have the ability to control it. Moreover, the yang attribute Yuan Qi in one's body must be pure to a certain degree. This is the reason why I'm looking for you. What exactly do I need to do? Yang Kai asked. Meng Wuya immediately became impatient. Why are you asking so much? When the time comes, I'll naturally tell you. Yang Kai pinched his nose, not knowing why old man Meng was so angry. Where is this thing? When are we leaving? In Blackwind Mountain, there is a 9th Yin congregation ground there. On the 7th day of the 7th month, Yin Qi gathers. Only then will the 9th Yin Yuan condensing dew appear and absorb the Yin Qi of heaven and earth. Then there aren't many days left. Yang Kai calculated a little and found that there were only a few days left until the 7th day of the 7th month. If they wanted to go deep into Blackwind Mountain, then the journey would take a lot of time. So if you don't have anything to do, I want to go there as soon as possible. If we miss this opportunity, we'll have to wait another year. Meng Wuya said seriously. I'm available at any time. Yang Kai smiled slightly. Then come to the contribution hall in 2 days to find me. I still need to prepare some materials. Meng Wuya said. Okay, then it's settled. Both sides agreed to meet at the contribution hall in 2 days, then Yang Kai left. Looking at his back, Meng Wuya sighed slightly. His expression was strange, and it was unknown what he was thinking. After a while, he said, Disciple, are you sure you want to do this? Xia Ningchang's dress fluttered, and she nodded lightly, yes. Meng Wuya said, Actually, you don't need to refine the 9th Yin Yuan condensing dew to reach Yuan Qi. It's just that your strength will be slightly lower in the future. Xia Ningchang laughed lightly, but I want to help Master. Isn't it better to have pure Yuan Qi? Master saved me and raised me, and I want to help Master. Hey, why don't you think about it again? The reason why Meng Wuya left 2 days was to let Xia Ningchang think about it more. Xia Ningchang blushed. It's nothing, I don't hate him. Meng Wuya sighed. That brat got lucky. Thinking of Yang Kai's indifferent expression, Meng Wuya gnashed his teeth in anger. You're only here to help, but you don't think about how much of an advantage you'll get. Please don't cause any sparks. In the end, this small place was not a suitable place for his disciple. Meng Wuya was full of worry. Yang Kai didn't go to Su Yan's small loft again, and instead returned to the small wooden house he had been away from for a few days. Although he hadn't been back for a few days, the small wooden house was still as clean as new. Not even a speck of dust was left behind. He didn't know who had helped him clean. Although Treasurer Meng's explanation was vague, Kai Yang basically knew where he was going and what he had to do. Since it was the 9th Yin congregation ground, the Yin Qi there was definitely heavy. His true Yang Yuan Qi was the nemesis of Yin Qi, so he wasn't afraid. It was just that his current strength was too low. If he didn't store some Yang liquid, he wouldn't be able to last long. It just so happened that senior sister Xia helped him refine the 3 suns fruit into pills, which was a good way to replenish his Yang liquid. There were 4 3-sun fruit trees, and each tree had 3 fruits, which were refined into 12 bright red pills. If each pill could be refined into 3 drops of Yang liquid, then he would have a total of 36 drops of Yang liquid. Whether it was used in battle or to resist Yin Qi, this Yang liquid was very useful. It was something he could rely on to survive. It took Kai Yang an entire day to completely absorb the medicinal efficacies of the 12 pills. He didn't just obtain 36 drops of Yang liquid, but a total of 40 drops. Including the few drops he had in the Dantian, the Dantian's reserves were quite abundant. This time, he finally had some capital to rely on. Not only did he obtain so much Yang liquid, but when the last fruit was refined, Yang Kai found that he had broken through to the initial element boundary 4th stage. This breakthrough came without any warning, so he wasn't mentally prepared at all. The breakthrough was also quite natural, and he didn't even feel anything before it was completed. Thinking about it, Yang Kai felt that it was related to the pills he had eaten these past few days. First, he ate a dozen bottles of pills from Su Yan, then he ate 12 3 suns pills. With such a large amount of energy gathered, it wasn't strange for him to break through. Chapter 85. The next morning, in front of the contribution hall, Yang Kai gently knocked on the door. A moment later, the door opened and Xia Ningchang came out with a small package on her shoulder. The package was filled with many things. "Junior brother, you've come?" Xianxia softly greeted. Yang Kai nodded. "Where's Treasurer Meng?" He suddenly had a relapse yesterday and had to stay behind to treat his wounds. He can't go. While Xianxia was speaking, her eyes were flashing nonstop. Her 2 rows of dense eyelashes were also trembling like a fan. Yang Kai suspiciously looked at her, while Xianxia's eyes flashed with a trace of panic. "Then should we wait for him?" Yang Kai guessed, but didn't point it out. "No need, I know where that place is. Moreover, there's not much time left. Master said that we don't need to wait for him." Seeing that Yang Kai didn't want to get to the bottom of the matter, Xianxia couldn't help but feel relieved. "All right." Yang Kai hesitated for a moment, but still agreed. "We'll have to trouble junior brother this time." Xianxia let out a long sigh. "Senior sister is too polite." Yang Kai smiled faintly. The 2 of them then left High Heaven Pavilion. In a side room of the contribution hall, Meng Wuya was currently sleeping on the table. There were several exquisite dishes on the table, as well as several pots of wine. It was obvious that Treasurer Meng was tasting the wine and delicacies before he fell asleep. These delicacies were all made by Xianxia, but there was a special seasoning added to them. Using Xianxia's sacred spirit medicine body as the base, even an expert like Meng Wuya couldn't resist the special seasoning. Meng Wuya estimated that he would sleep for several days at the very least. Meng Wuya had been shrewd all his life, but he never thought that there would be a day when his old horse would stumble and fall at the hands of his treasured disciple. It could be said that one false step could lead to everlasting regret. By the time Meng Wuya woke up, everything would be a foregone conclusion. When Yang Kai and Xianxia arrived at Black Plum Town, they bought 2 horses and some daily necessities before setting off. While shopping, Yang Kai also inquired about the location of the place they were going to. According to Xianxia, it was about a 10-day journey from Black Plum Town to Black Wind Mountain. Although it was a long journey, they still had plenty of time. Not long after the 2 left High Heaven Pavilion, this news reached Xie Hongchen's ears. Since that day when he saw Su Yan and Yang Kai acting so intimately in the forest prison, Xie Hongchen had been drowning his sorrows in alcohol for several days. Yesterday, he had finally calmed down, and after thinking about it for a while, he felt that what had happened that day was not what he had seen. What kind of temperament Su Yan had, Xie Hongchen couldn't be any clearer. With her arrogance and strength, how could she be interested in Yang Kai, who was only at the 3rd level of the initial element realm? What's more, the 2 of them didn't seem to have any contact at all. They were basically strangers. Xie Hongchen finally understood that Su Yan and Yang Kai were only acting that day. At that time, jealousy had turned into hatred, and Xie Hongchen didn't have time to think about whether it was real or not. But after thinking about it, Xie Hongchen's spirit was greatly lifted. Yesterday, he went to find Su Yan to express his feelings. He was elegant and graceful, not at all crazy and out of control like that day. Although in the end he was still kicked out by Su Yan, the knot in Xie Hongchen's heart was lifted. As long as Su Yan wasn't taken by another man, she would be his one day. Xie Hongchen was very confident. After all, he was the most outstanding male disciple of High Heaven Pavilion, and Su Yan was the most outstanding female disciple. The combination of the 2 was naturally something the elders wanted to see. Early in the morning, Xie Hongchen carefully prepared to go to Black Wind Trade to visit Su Yan. But just as he was about to leave, a disciple of the law enforcement hall suddenly rushed in with a surprised expression. "Brother Xie, Yang Kai just left High Heaven Pavilion." Hearing this, Xie Hongchen's eyes lit up. "He left alone?" "No, he left with a disciple of the Dark Hall called Xianxia." The disciple replied. "Xianxia." Xie Hongchen narrowed his eyes. "I know her. Her strength is comparable to mine, but she isn't a core disciple. That woman is very strange." "Where did they go?" Xie Hongchen thought for a moment, a trace of madness suddenly surging in his eyes. "That waste actually left High Heaven Pavilion at this time. If I can kill him outside, wouldn't I be able to resolve the hatred in my heart? I don't know their destination, but it looks like they're going somewhere because they bought 2 horses in Black Plum Town. Going somewhere? Xie Hongchen raised his brow. Good, good, very good. After saying good a few times, Xie Hongchen suddenly turned his head and said with a ferocious expression, "Go find a few trustworthy senior martial brothers who are at least at the separation and reunion boundary to accompany me on this trip." "Brother, what do you want to do?" "Heh, isn't it obvious what I want to do? Why are you still asking?" Xie Hongchen's face contorted. He wanted to chase after Kai Yang and get rid of his love rival. He also couldn't let go of Xianing Chang. After all, if the news were to leak out, it wouldn't be a joke. "Brother, this isn't right." The disciplinary hall disciple's face was a bit panicked. He didn't care about Yang Kai. He was just a trial disciple at the initial element boundary, so even if he died outside, no one would care. However, that Xia Ningchang from the Dark Hall was different. No one was clear about her background, but since she had the strength of a peak separation and reunion boundary cultivator, she was definitely not a nobody. If she died and the pavilion investigated, none of the senior brothers and junior brothers who were involved would be able to escape. "I told you to do it, so just do it. What are you being so long-winded for?" Xie Hongchen was full of impatience. "Do you want me to go find her myself?" Crazy jealousy had already made Xie Hongchen unable to maintain his composure. There was only one thought in his mind: to kill Yang Kai. "Brother, after what happened last time, the Great Elder gave a strict order that no one is to have any ideas about Yang Kai. Did you forget?" With this reminder, Xie Hongchen suddenly came to his senses. That's right, the Great Elder suddenly gave an order that no one was to find trouble with Yang Kai for a short period of time. However, this order was inexplicable, so Xie Hongchen didn't take it to heart. However, this was such a great opportunity, so how could he let it go? If he didn't kill Yang Kai this time, how long would he have to wait? What if he always hid in the sect and didn't go out? Just as he was unwilling to give up, the disciplinary hall disciple seemed to have thought of something and smiled slyly. "Brother Xie, we can't do it, but others can. There are many people who want Yang Kai's life." "What do you mean?" Xie Hongchen narrowed his eyes and asked. That person said, "It is said that the blood group's deputy chief Long Zai Tian's grandson, Long Hui, has been inquiring about Yang Kai for the past month." Long Zai Tian, Xie Hongchen naturally knew about him. He was a well-known figure in the blood group, and his strength was also at the immortal ascension boundary. His grandson didn't have any outstanding points, and this year he was only at the Qi transformation stage. Xie Hongchen was confused. Why is Long Hui inquiring about him? That person's expression couldn't help but become ambiguous. It seems to be related to that dragon lady, Hu Mei Air. Long Hui has been pursuing Hu Mei Air, regarding her as his exclusive property. However, the relationship between Yang Kai and Hu Mei Air is unclear. Long Hui said that one day he will kill Yang Kai and let him know the consequences of having ideas about his woman. Hu Mei Air. In front of Xie Hongchen's eyes appeared a charming young girl with ample breasts and perky buttocks. For a moment his breathing became heavy. This dragon lady was good at seducing people's hearts. Almost all the young disciples of the 3 sects had heard of her, and Xie Hongchen had also seen her once. That waist really isn't a good thing, unexpectedly having a relationship with this dragon lady. Xie Hongchen was jealous to death, but his mouth was full of righteousness and anger. After thinking for a moment, he suspiciously asked, "That's not right, where did you get such detailed information?" Even if Long Hui wanted to take Yang Kai's life, he couldn't have done so with such great fanfare. Wasn't this beating the grass to scare the snake? If Yang Kai heard about it, how could he have the guts to leave High Heaven Pavilion? As long as Long Hui's brain wasn't damaged, he wouldn't have done such a thing. That person's face became awkward, and he didn't know how to answer. "Speak." Xie Hongchen's face sank. "Yes." This person had no choice but to confess. "A few days ago, I was at Black Plum Village's Spring Breeze Drizzle building when I was drinking. Long Hui happened to live next door, and I heard him talking to the girl in the room." Spring Breeze Drizzle building. Xie Hongchen unhappily looked at this junior brother. That was a brothel in Black Plum Village. What did he go there for? There was no need to ask, it couldn't be just for drinking. That person continued, Brother Xie, if Long Hui knew about this, he definitely wouldn't let Yang Kai off so easily. We don't need to do it ourselves. What's more, Long Hui is a lecher by nature. If we tell him that Yang Kai has a beautiful girl by his side, what do you think he will do? Xie Hongchen's eyes lit up, and he coldly laughed, brilliant plan. This move of using a borrowed knife to kill someone was really not bad. After pondering for a moment, Xie Hongchen decided, since Long Hui wants to find him, then we'll send him a message. However, this matter must be done in secret and must not be exposed. We must not let him know that we were the ones who sent the message. In addition, we must tell Long Hui that the girl by Yang Kai's side has the strength of a peak separation and reunion boundary cultivator. Don't let him go for wool and come home shorn. That person hurriedly left after receiving the order. Yang Kai, let's see if you can survive this time. Only, it was a pity that Xianing Chang. That girl always wore a veil. Although he had never seen her face, Xie Hongchen was almost certain that she was a stunning beauty. If such a girl fell into Long Hui's hands, there was no need to think about what would happen. For a moment, Xie Hongchen was somewhat envious of Long Hui. The High Heaven Pavilion's law enforcement hall was ready to make a move. Somewhere in Black Plum Town, there were also people who were ready to make a move. Not long after Yang Kai and Xia Ningchang rode away, a group of people suddenly emerged from the dark. The leader with a cold face stared at Yang Kai's back and asked, Did you see that guy clearly? Is he Yang Kai? Absolutely. Senior brother Nu Lang, he is Yang Kai without a doubt. Last time, we were beaten up by him. After that, senior brother Cheng Xiaofeng went to look for senior brother Nu Tao and said that he would find an opportunity to teach him a lesson. However, ever since that time they went to Black Wind Trade City, the two of them never returned. Nu Lang's face was gloomy. He waved his hand and said, Go buy some horses. I want to know whether my brother is dead or alive, and where he is. Nu Tao had been missing for more than a month. Nu Lang couldn't find him. After inquiring left and right, he finally found Yang Kai. To find out the truth, he had to catch up with that Yang Kai. If it was related to him, then, as the older brother, he naturally had to avenge his younger brother. Chapter 86. In Nu Lang's group, he was the strongest. He had just broken through to the Qi transformation stage, so the Yuan Qi in his body was restless. At this stage, the cultivator was easily angered and controlled by all kinds of emotions. The other 7 or 8 people were mostly in the tempered body stage. There were also a few cultivators in the initial element stage, but their strength wasn't very high. It was just that they had a large number of people. Nu Lang had naturally heard of Yang Kai's strength, so he didn't take Yang Kai seriously. However, the girl following Yang Kai didn't seem to be easy to deal with. But after thinking about it carefully, this girl wasn't that great. After all, she didn't look very old. She didn't seem to be among the famous disciples of the High Heaven Pavilion. Moreover, if she was really strong, why would she need to buy a horse? When one's strength reached a certain level, one's leg strength was much faster than a horse's. Thinking of this, Nu Lang was relieved. He didn't know that the reason why Xia Ningchang wanted to buy a horse was to take care of Yang Kai. After all, Yang Kai was only at the initial element stage 4, so how fast could his leg strength be? The group of Stormhouse disciples quickly prepared and followed the tracks of the horses. Yang Kai and Xia Ningchang were also galloping, but they didn't know that there were 2 groups of people following them. Moreover, each group didn't have good intentions. Although Xia Ningchang's strength wasn't bad, after all, she hadn't condensed her divine sense, so it was impossible for her to investigate the surroundings. The 2 people galloped without saying a word. Xia Ningchang led the way in the front and Yang Kai followed closely behind her. The 2 horses galloped, one in front and one behind. Until night, the 2 people found a place with a water source to rest. After taking out the food they bought from Black Plum Town, the 2 people ate a little and then sat around the campfire to rest. After a day of getting along with each other, Yang Kai had figured out this little senior sister's temperament. Timid, shy, after a few words, her ears would turn red, and when she spoke, her voice was soft and gentle, as if she didn't have a temper. With her personality, Yang Kai didn't want to take the initiative to talk to her. He didn't want to scare her. Ever since the day he comprehended the mysteries of the unyielding golden skeleton and comprehended the mysterious martial skill unyielding will, Yang Kai discovered that his true Yang tactics had changed. Running the true Yang secret art in an environment with Yang Qi, he could absorb Yang Qi and condense Yang liquid. In an environment where there was no Yang Qi, he could still circulate his true Yang secret art and absorb the surrounding spiritual energy. After the true Yang Yuan Qi in his body was refined, it would be absorbed by his unyielding golden skeleton. The restriction of the cultivation environment disappeared in an instant. For Yang Kai, this was simply great news. After traveling for 3 days, the two people finally arrived at a small town 1,000 miles away from High Heaven Pavilion. They parked their horses in the town and found an inn to stay for the time being. According to Xia Ningchang, they wouldn't need horses for the rest of the journey. Because they were going into the mountains, horses naturally couldn't be brought in. Late at night, the inn was quiet. Yang Kai and Xia Ningchang stayed next door. The room was brightly lit. Yang Kai was meditating and cultivating, while Xia Ningchang was thinking about random things. In these 3 days of traveling together, the two didn't exchange more than 10 words. Xia Ningchang felt very awkward. After all, he came to ask for help, so it was somewhat unreasonable to neglect him like this. But every time he wanted to talk to him, Xia Ningchang couldn't muster up the courage. He was used to secretly observing him, so now that he suddenly had to meet him face to face, Xia Ningchang really didn't know what to do. Moreover, this junior brother seemed to be a taciturn person. If he went to talk to him, wouldn't he be annoyed? Just as Xia Ningchang was frowning, the other two groups of people in the inn were quietly paying attention to what was happening here. In a guest room, Long Hui and a group of blood groups elites were sitting inside. The dim candlelight flickered, illuminating Long Hui's somewhat distorted face. After the blood group's people got the news, they chased after them. But after all, they started a little late, so it wasn't until today that they finally caught up. After a moment of silence, Long Hui suddenly said, "Hall Master Wen, when do we start? That Yang Kai is staying in this inn. With Hall Master Wen's skill, it shouldn't be difficult to capture him, right?" Wen Fei Chen was a middle-aged man. His strength was at Yuan Qi boundary level 5, and he was one of the blood group's hall masters. Because the information Long Hui obtained was accurate, he found an expert to accompany him. His purpose was to capture Xia Ningchang alive. In addition to Wen Fei Chen, this group of people had many separation and reunion boundary experts. The number of people was about 6 or 7. It could be seen that Long Hui was making a big fuss in order to ensure that nothing would go wrong. Hearing this, Wen Fei Chen smiled, "Young Master Long, if you want this one to start now, it's not impossible. Although this is a small town with this Wen's strength, if I want to deal with them, it will be easy. I won't disturb the bystanders, and I won't leave behind any clues." "Then what are we waiting for?" Long Hui's expression shook. "Yang Kai must die, and that woman must be captured alive. It is said that she is a peerless beauty. Since he dares to set his sights on my woman, then I'll give him a taste of his own medicine. I'll let him have a taste of his woman being targeted by others." Wen Fei Chen knew Long Hui's nature, so he didn't have much of a reaction. He only said, "But young Master Long, have you ever thought about why they came all the way to this place?" Long Hui asked in a deep voice. Wen Fei Chen pondered for a moment, then said, "This one believes that they must have their own purpose. Perhaps they want to enter Black Wind Mountain to find some kind of treasure." Long Hui frowned. "What does this have to do with us? There are many treasures in Black Wind Mountain, but not everyone can find them." Wen Fei Chen shook his head. "Young Master Long's words are wrong. You can enter Black Wind Mountain from High Heaven Pavilion, but they rode their horses for thousands of miles and stopped here. If I didn't guess wrong, tomorrow they will enter the mountain from here. Their purpose is so clear, then one thing can be certain. They know where the treasure is and will definitely find it. if we quietly follow them from behind and wait for them to find the treasure. It has to be said that when Fei Chen's observation was very meticulous, and his analysis was also quite accurate. He was worthy of being called an experienced person. Long Hui's eyes lit up. We can take action and steal it. When Fei Chen smiled, young Master Long is right. But if young Master Long can't wait to have a beauty, then this one can take action tonight. I won't let you down. Long Hui hesitated, his expression somewhat uncertain. When Fei Chen said, but if we wait a few more days, not only can we have a beauty, but we can also have the treasure. Think about it, if they spend so much effort to find the treasure, but it is snatched by us, then Yang Kai will be so angry that he will vomit blood, right? Hearing this, Long Hui's hesitant expression immediately became firm. Good, in any case, they can run away, but they can't run away from the temple. Then we will let Yang Kai live for a few more days, and we will just sit back and reap the benefits. When Fei Chen lightly smiled and said, to be able to endure what normal people cannot, young Master Long is destined to be a person who does great things. This Long is impressed. Hall Master Wen is overpraising me. This flattery made Long Hui extremely comfortable. Chapter 87. When Fei Chen was trying to please Long Hui. Naturally, there was a reason for this. Although the leader of the blood group, Hu Man, was an ambitious and ruthless person, but the heavens didn't favor him. In this life, he only had 2 beautiful daughters. In Wen Fei Chen's opinion, in the future, the blood group would sooner or later fall into the hands of the Long family. Naturally, he had to get along well with this young master. When the Long family took control of the blood group in the future, how could he not benefit? The group of people in the room finished their discussion and were about to rest. Suddenly, there was a soft knock on the door. Come in. When Fei Chen shouted, the door opened and a disciple of the blood group who was on guard came in. He saluted Long Hui and then whispered a few words in Wen Fei Chen's ear. Wen Fei Chen's expression suddenly became strange. He couldn't help but whisper, so that's how it is. Then he winked at several people in the room and ordered, go, capture those people. We can't let them ruin Master Long's plans. Several people responded and quickly went out of the room. What happened? Long Hui asked. When Fei Chen chuckled, young Master Long, this is really interesting. Do you remember that on our way here, there were many hoof prints along the way? But according to the information we received, Yang Kai's group was only 2 people. At that time, I guessed that those hoof prints were just people passing by. But I didn't expect that, besides us, there were other people following Yang Kai. Long Hui was surprised. Who is it? A few small characters from Storm House. At this moment, they seem to be preparing to deal with Yang Kai. It seems that they don't know that the strength of the woman who is with Yang Kai is not something they can deal with. This is the same as courting death. Long Hui sneered, Hall Master Wen, have you arranged it properly? Of course, we can't let them ruin young Master Long's great plan. When Fei Chen nodded slightly. While the 2 of them were talking, a large number of people suddenly rushed in from outside the door. The disciples of the blood group who had just left had all returned. Accompanying them were Nu Lang and the others who were panic-stricken. Nu Lang's group was scared out of their wits. It wasn't easy for them to come here today. They were planning to capture Yang Kai and ask for the missing Nu Tao and Qing Xiaofeng. Who would have thought that before they could take action, they would be captured by this group of fiendish experts whose strength far surpassed theirs. Nu Lang was scared out of his wits. After he was thrown in, he hurried to kneel and kowtow to beg for mercy. Masters, we haven't offended you, have we? Please be magnanimous. Shut up. A disciple of the blood group slapped him, causing his mouth to be filled with blood, but he didn't dare to say anything, he could only obediently obey. The people of the Storm House trembled in fear as they looked around. Although their strength wasn't high, they could see that any one of these people could kill them, not to mention that there were 6 or 7 experts surrounding them. Who did they offend? The group of people racked their brains but still couldn't figure it out. During this time, they hadn't done anything outrageous. At most, They had plotted to capture Yang Kai in the room just now, but they hadn't done anything yet, right? Why did they have to make such a big scene? Nu Lang looked around and suddenly found a familiar young man in front of him. At this moment, the young man was looking at him with a smile. After thinking carefully, Nu Lang's face changed greatly. He probed, "Are you Long Hui of the blood group?" Long Hui chuckled, "Do you know me?" Nu Lang smiled embarrassedly, "Descendant of Senior Long, I have heard a lot about you. Of course, I know you. Since you know me, this matter is easy to handle." Long Hui nodded slightly. Nu Lang was full of doubts. He couldn't understand why they had met the people of the blood group thousands of miles away. Although it was a good thing to meet an old friend in a foreign land, but in this situation, people under the eaves had no choice but to lower their heads. "I ask you, why are you chasing after Yang Kai?" Long Hui narrowed his eyes and asked. Nu Lang's heart skipped a beat. He thought that Long Hui was blaming him. Although he was scared, he didn't dare to hide the truth. After he finished, he said with a sad face, "Master Long, I only suspected that Yang Kai had something to do with my brother's disappearance. I didn't want to do anything to him. If you think there is a problem, I will immediately take people back to the storm house. I will never have any ideas about Yang Kai again." Long Hui smiled. "Do you think that Yang Kai and I are friends? Are you not?" Nu Lang looked timid. "What a joke." Long Hui coldly snorted, "What is this young master's identity? What is his identity? Are we friends? Your dog eyes are blind." Nu Lang didn't dare to answer. In his heart, he was cursing incessantly. He thought that since they weren't friends, why did you interfere in our grudges? Wasn't this like a dog trying to catch a mouse? You have no eyesight. Master Long has saved your lives this time, and you don't even know how to thank him. A disciple of the blood group reprimanded. Nu Lang and the others were confused. That disciple of the blood group sneered, "You only know that Yang Kai's strength is low, but do you know that the woman beside him is a master of separation and reunion boundary?" With this sentence, Nu Lang and the others were sweating profusely. Separation and reunion boundary. Compared to Nu Lang's Qi transforming stage first level, it was 2 realms higher. If they were to really fight, that woman alone would be able to annihilate Nu Tao's entire army. At this moment, Nu Lang realized what kind of mistake he had made. For a moment he was scared and rejoiced. He repeatedly kowtowed, "Thank you, Master Long, for saving us. We can't thank you enough." A group of people from the storm house also quickly thanked him. "Well, it's good that you know." Long Hui seemed to enjoy the support of others. "I'm not afraid to tell you that this time, I came to take Yang Kai's life. But you have to wait for a few more days. Because of your rash actions, I almost beat the grass to scare the snake, which ruined my plan. We didn't know, please forgive us, Master Long." Nu Lang's face was full of fear and trepidation. "Forget it, I won't argue with you. Everyone's target is Yang Kai, so you can follow me. After I capture Yang Kai, you can inquire about your brother's whereabouts." Although Nu Lang felt that something was wrong, his group's strength was low, so how could they resist? He immediately nodded and said, "We will follow Master Long's order. Even if we have to go through water and tread on fire, we won't refuse. Go back, I will find you tomorrow." Long Hui waved his hand. Nu Lang and the others got up from the ground and slowly retreated. When they got out of the house, they realized that their clothes were soaked. After they left, Long Hui looked at Wen Fei Chen with a puzzled expression. "Hall Master Wen, why did you take them with you? Their strength is too low, so it's easy for them to be exposed. Can't we kill Yang Kai and capture that woman?" What Long Hui had just said was what Wen Fei Chen had told him. Although he had followed the instructions, Long Hui didn't understand the reason behind it. Welcome to Immortal Cultivation Audiobooks, your gateway to the mystical world of Xianxia. Dive into legendary tales of martial arts, spiritual growth, and immortal ascension. Here, we bring you full-length English audiobooks of the best Wuxia and Xianxia stories, from young prodigies to ancient sect wars. Perfect for fans of Against the Gods, Martial World, and tales of demons and gods.